fox, and this one is the gray fox. Got the V shape. And just kind of learn what the teeth are. So if they have canines and molars, what are they? Come on, let's be interactive. I know I'm getting videoed, but I'm always
carnivores?
Omnivores.
Omnivores, yes. And so if they only have canines, they are carnivores. And then, thank you. And if they only have molars, they are herbivores, yes. So I do have little graphics down there for them that you guys can look at. I might have some random skulls out. I might have you kind of ID. This is our bear. Obviously, that looks a lot different than this one, which is our deer. So just make sure that they can tell the difference between a bear skull and a deer skull, which should be a little obvious. The fact that it doesn't have sharp canines and a very pointy nose. I'm also going to be asking questions about scat and tracks. So if you guys want to take pictures of the different footprints and scat and tracks that we have over here, you're more than welcome to take pictures. These are the ones that I will be using. Oh, there's a fly in that one. It's alive. So you guys are more than welcome to take pictures. I might even do a sandbox and have a few tracks printed in there that they're going to have to identify. I will definitely have some furs out there that they have to identify. And make sure that they go over our hunting and fishing regulations. I will be asking them simple questions. I'm not going to be like, on page 32, what is the second letter of this page? It's going to be like, when does deer season start? Or like crossbow season. It's going to be something kind of simple. But I am going to hit major categories of conservation management, the history of wildlife management, which we do have documents online. I don't have anything about fish here, but I do have stuff about fish online. A lot of handouts, and it talks about the different fins and things. I will be asking questions based on that. I'll be asking some questions about the events that DNR does, like National Hunting and Fishing Day and our Archery in the Schools program. Those are where most of my questions are going to come from, but also make sure to get really familiar with a lot of our other events as well, just because it is part of our recreation push. Another thing that I'm going to test on is snakes. Go ahead and show these around. So we have two venomous snakes here in West Virginia. So this is our timber rattler. This is one of the venomous snakes that we have in the state. You can tell that it is our rattler by the rattle. It is the only snake in West Virginia that we have that has a rattler. The next one is going to be, what is this snake?
Copperhead.
No, this is not the copperhead. Funny enough, it's a trick question. So this is actually our copperhead, and this is a milk snake. People think all the time they see a milk snake, and they're like, oh my gosh, it's a copperhead, we have to kill it. But it's not. This is going to be our copperhead. You can tell by the copperhead. And a lot of parents, when they have these and they see this in their yard, well, actually they see this one in their yard, they're like, oh my goodness, it's a copperhead, it looks like a copperhead, and they just go ahead and kill it, because, I mean, you better be safe than sorry when you have little kids running around. But this is actually our second venomous snake in West Virginia. So if you take a snake skin, and I'll bring one out later, but they have a little anal gland, okay? And past that anal gland towards the tail, the scales are either going to be 2 by 2, or it's going to be one single plate all the way down. If it stays one single plate all the way down like this, then that means it's venomous. If it splits into 2 and it goes kind of back and forth like this, it means it's non-venomous. And that's for all snakes in West Virginia. That rule goes kind of the same for the eastern part of the coast, but there are some exceptions, but not here in the state of West Virginia. So this is a safe rule to go by. Because a lot of times people will bring me things like this, and they'll be like, oh my goodness, can you ID this? I found this in my house or in my garage. And what color is this?
Looks like a black snake.
Yeah, it does. It looks like a black snake. You can tell by the length of it. But if this was a little bit smaller, like let's say 3 feet, then you can't really tell that there's a pattern on it. It's kind of gone. You can't really tell what color markings it was. But just by the sheer length of it, the rat snake is our longest snake in West Virginia, so this is the best guess that I've got for this person. But if you handed me a 3-foot one, we're not going to really be able to ID it. But we will be able to tell you if it's venomous or not non-venomous. So you can see here's the little anal plate, and it divides into 2, which means it is a non-venomous snake. So we can kind of give some people a peace of mind by just simply saying, hey, you don't have a venomous snake in your house. I'm probably going to ask a couple of questions too on some of our citizen science projects that we have going on, like the eastern box turtle and our fireflies project. I'm not going to ask like how many people reported. I might just ask you, hey, what citizen science projects do we have going on? List which ones you know of. And that could just be a survey question. We are going to include a couple of survey questions at the bottom of the page. I think it's going to be 5 of them. And it's not going to count for any points. There's 0 points that are labeled very clearly. They don't have to answer them if they don't want to, but it just kind of helps us gain a little bit of research of, hey, have you ever participated in National Line Fishing Day? Have you ever tried hunting? Have you ever thought of trying hunting and you could? And those are completely optional. They don't have to. It's not going to count against their score if they answer, if they don't answer. It just kind of helps us gauge. So you're more than welcome to come up and take pictures. A lot of people usually do, and it usually ends up helping their team. So you're welcome to come.